Good morning, lovely spirits. It's the wise servant here, Mr. Solace, Pasampaset. I greet in the sign of the rising sun, peace and wisdom. Now this morning as I watched the sunrise, I want to do this video called The Black Witches of North America. It's a very deep thing in this world when dealing with black women. Their history has been kind of buried. Women in general, when you're dealing with history, it's mainly men. But there's a lot of cold-blooded things in women's history. And today I want to do this video to the women. Some women will know what I'm speaking of, and others may have never heard of this. But it's very important for black women, especially, to know a thing. Like I said, the world don't seem to care about women's history. And we know the black woman is like at the bottom of the barrel. So you could forget about knowing anything about black women. You got to do a lot of digging and scraping to get anything. But today I want to give y'all a jewel called the Black Witches of North America. Now, black women in this world had a special knowledge or talent that other women in this world never seen or heard of. It's called the craft of the witch. We know it as witchcraft. It's viewed as a bad thing in today's times. But before today's times, black women in this world, some of them, not all of them, but a large majority of them, indulged into the craft that we call witches. So they were witches. And it's a very deep thing I want y'all to grasp. Now, when I say women of the world, I know we have many different nationalities today. So when I say black women of the world, we'll kind of just focus on one race of colored people. But when I say black women of the world, I am speaking of all black women of the world. See, the life doesn't deal with nationalities, but the life deals with the duality always. And all before you, you see women of color, meaning between brown and black, and you see fair-skinned women or light women, women who are different shades of white, so to say. So you have different shades of black and different shades of white, but you only have those two because the life is just a duality, dark and light, day and night, sleep and awake. It all boils down to dark and light. Dark, white man, light. Doesn't matter his nationality. You don't need to get lost into that. So this is what I mean by black women had a talent or a special knowledge that other women didn't have. And it was called witchcraft. So I want all you women watching this that heard of witchcraft and witches and you view it as the old evil white woman. Get that image out your head. Get all you know about witches out your head. Because you're going to learn something today that has to do with you. This is yours. Don't let nobody tell you about yours, because we tend to do this in today's times. Now, from witchcraft, you get voodoo and hoodoo, and all those different kinds of practices, so to say. Now, what y'all need to understand with voodoo and hoodoo, voodoo is a religion. So grasp. Voodoo is a religion like Christianity, Islam, etc. Hoodoo is like a chemist or an alchemist. It's a practice. It's a actual thing like a doctor. So I want you to grasp the difference between the two. We kind of tend to think that Hoodoo is another way of saying voodoo, and it's not. They're two different things. Voodoo is if hoodoo was made into a religion. So it's like I tell y'all, all the religions y'all have is just the religion was applied to a real knowledge and wisdom. And it alters that real knowledge and wisdom kind of to rule over people in a sense. Mislead people slightly from knowing full truth of self. So it's a deep thing, but you have hoodoo and voodoo. And this all comes from witchcraft. So it's a deep thing. Now, when Caucasians came to North America, so 1492 all the way up until now. When Caucasians came to America and began to do their thing, they made law. And one of the first laws they made, you don't see this law today, because this law did its purpose. See, law is supposed to get rid of a thing. And this law did its job. But that law was being a witch was literally illegal. So I want you to just grasp, let's say you can sing. And they say, man, singing is illegal. You find all the women that know how to sing. So now you got to pretend like you can't sing. Because they say singing summon up demons. So don't let women sing. So I'm just giving you an example. So when the Caucasians came to North America, they seen the power of the black women. The witch doctor chicks. They could heal you. They could harm you. Or worse. And the Caucasians seen this. At first, a lot of them was getting healed by these people. And then when the people, meaning our people, the blacks, seen like, oh, these people are not pure in spirit, they begin to use the witchcraft against them. So, if you can grasp a point, then you can get it. Okay, so then they made a law. Said, if you a witch, round up the witches, because we got to get rid of them. They killing us, man. And it's deep. Over time, the Caucasians, they made it perceive as, they made being a witch be perceived as an evil thing. And they did this so that black women would stop studying it. It's a very deep thing. They made the blacks' strengths evil things. So we wouldn't indulge no more. It's a deep thing I want y'all to truly grasp. If you don't understand, I'm trying to think of an example to give you. The Caucasians came here. The women here, they were healers. That's a nice way to put it. Because I know the perspective of a witch in today's times is like, what is he talking about? You have religion and all this. So, when they came here, we were powerful people. Just like when Caucasians came to any black place. The people had their power. And it's a deep thing. The women were witches. And they healed the people. But if they didn't like you, then you grasp. So it was a deep, cold-blooded thing. The Caucasians came here, they seen that power. They said, nobody can be like that. That ain't fair. So they made it illegal. And they eventually rounded up all the witches and began to execute them. It's a deep thing. You got a thing called the Salem witch trials of 1692 right here in North America. And they exterminated witches and locked them up forever. It's deep. They locked a 4-year-old witch up. You see how cold-blooded the black women of North America was? I want y'all to grasp the perspective. These your ancestors. Cold-blooded. Little black girl, 4 years old. Gonna murder you. Torment your spirit. She knew the sciences at 4. Y'all don't understand. They locked up a witch named Sarah, not Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne. No, Sarah Good. And Sarah Good had a daughter named Dorothy Good. And that was the 4-year-old witch. Cold-blooded. They hung her mother, Dorothy Good, and they locked a 4-year-old girl up for being a witch. So I don't want you to think, oh, this is just a tale. It's been made over the times to be perceived as an evil tales. A witch is a myth. It's just evil like a vampire. But this is all real. This is your history. Think it's bullshitting a 4-year-old little girl was a witch. Fucking white people up. But let me give y'all a little bit of the history so you fully grasp. You got 2 little girls. One named Abigail Williams, the other named Betty Paris. Now, Abigail Williams, her family was murdered by the Native Americans, her mother and her father. It's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. The Caucasians was coming here, and it's like I told y'all in previous videos. It wasn't good for them. Native Americans were slaughtering them. But Abigail Williams, her whole family was slaughtered. And she was left. Because the natives was cold-blooded like that. They'll leave one. So you can feel that pain. They tell them, no, don't kill him. Let him live with this shit. So they grasp. Ain't nobody playing with y'all. You tell your friends about her. So we was cold-blooded. Tell them, man, you kill a whole goddamn village, but leave 3 of them. So they could tell anybody they come into contact about us. Play with me. So they left Abigail Williams alive. And she had to go live with her uncle, Samuel Paris. And he had a daughter, Betty Paris. Now, Abigail Williams and Betty Paris was Samuel Paris's daughter. And Abigail Williams was basically the cousin, his niece. Now, Samuel Paris, of course, he had slaves, servants, whatever you want to call them. Now, these slaves, being as though they were black, some of them knew witchcraft. But you wasn't allowed to let that be known. It's like I said, round the witches up and kill them. So you kept that to yourself. Now, something happened to Abigail Williams and Betty Paris. They began to catch convulsions and bug out. Spirits was fucking with them. They wasn't having a good time. So Samuel Paris is like, what's going on with them? And they wouldn't tell him. They kept saying, I don't know. And they were scared to death. Then they'll break out into convulsions and start bugging out. Just them. Nobody else on the plantation, just them. So eventually, they told. And they said it was, what is her name? Tituba. They said Tituba did this to us. So then that's when the Salem witch trials began. Because Samuel Paris, he went and snatched up his slave Tituba and said, what the fuck did you do to my girls? Now Tituba was cold-blooded. Let me tell it accurately. Abigail Williams and Betty Paris, they told on Tituba and Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne. So those 3, Tituba and the 2 Sarahs, were told on. So Samuel Paris went and got his slaves, them 3, and accused them of witchcraft against his daughters. Now it's a deep thing. These was the first 3 accused in the Salem witch trials. Now you had Tituba, Sarah Good, and Sarah Osborne, the first 3. And this began basically the scavenger hunt for witches, searching for witches and killing them straight off rip. If they found out you knew how to do witchcraft or even thought you did and you was a black woman, you was finished. So I want to paint the perspective to y'all so y'all can see why we view witchcraft and all this shit how we do today. It's a deep thing. It was a strength we had. But anyway, Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba was accused of witchcraft against Abigail Williams and Betty Paris. Now, Sarah Good was hanged. And Sarah Osborne was killed as well, I believe. Tituba wasn't. And the reason why was because Tituba admitted guilt. So they had a trial. Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne was like, I'm innocent. Because they knew you get fucking killed. So they like, we gonna die either way. If we admit it, we gonna die. And if we don't, and they find out, we will. But we got a better chance that way. Now, Tatuba was probably cold-blooded gangster that just didn't even care. Like, I don't care. Whatever. So she admitted it. Like, yeah, I put the voodoo on them little bitches. I hate white people. So it's deep. Like, a lot of the black women, they hated white people. Some of them ain't care. They be like, you know what? I'm gonna die. But I want to just tell them, like, yeah, I did it. Fuck y'all, and then get hung. They like, they die in peace. Like, yes. So Tatuba was like that. She like, fuck that. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, we did it. So being as though the other two didn't want to admit guilt, killed them. And Tatuba was locked up. Now here's where it's deep, because Sarah Good had a daughter, Dorothy Good. And they locked Dorothy Good up too. She was only 4. 4-year-old girl locked up too. Now it's not just them 3. They just sparked this thing. So during this time, it wasn't called the Salem witch trials or none of that. It was just hunting for witches. So after this happened, they just began to hunt for all the witches in North America. Mind you, this is 1692. So you got to think, over time, it's a deep, cold-blooded thing. And it's deep because this happened in Europe as well. Wherever they brought slaves, man, they knew witchcraft, the women. Some of the men. But it was mainly a woman thing. And this was happening everywhere to the Caucasians. Everywhere they went and took over, they was having this problem. So it began to be the thing, like, you know, once you go to an indigenous island or something, you gotta, like, kill the witches first. It's funny, but it's not. It's a sad, deep thing. But basically, that's how you got the Salem witch trials. From there, you got a whole bunch of extermination. You got a whole bunch of exterminating black women from that point on. Prior to that, they was, killing witches. But I guess around the 1600s, I guess this is when the black women begin to use their witchcraft against the Caucasians. So they begin to hunt them down, paint the perspective that was an evil thing, and so on and so forth. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. Black people let others make their positives negatives. It's a deep thing. It's like hair. All these years, y'all let people make y'all nappy hair and y'all dreadlock hair, dirty, ugly thing. And now you see all nationalities indulging. And y'all running around with lace fronts looking stupid. And it's just deep, cold-blooded thing. I seen a white girl with an afro. I said, ain't that some shit? Tease motherfuckers for having nappy afros, and then you have one. It's amazing. It's just like our culture and the way we dressed. Now we dress like the white man. You know, we wear suits. When the white man came here, we didn't wear suits and shit. We had our own style. He took that style back to Europe and, told us, man, y'all look stupid. Here, dress like us. And here we are in today's times, tap dancing around, letting people tell us our greatness is nothing. And then they use our greatness right before our eyes, and we act like we don't see it. Like, it's weird. It's just like rap. When rap first came out, oh, that shit is stupid and blah, blah, blah. So I guess black niggas was like, this will just be like our hobby and shit. We ain't gonna try to go so hard to make a business out of it, because white man said this was stupid. Our elders said this was stupid. Same elders told the young that this was stupid. They said that because they was thinking from the white man's perspective. And then the white man came along and said, yeah, that's dumb. But it ain't dumb no more, see, because they made business out of it. So you get my point? I'll tell you your shit dumb, your shit is ignorant, and then just use it right before your eyes. Like, I never said that. It's deep. You got white rappers now. And a lot of you young black people, y'all don't realize when the elder blacks get mad at like Eminem and shit. It's because white people used to put this shit down. All of them. That's nigga music. That ain't shit. That's dumb, ignorant shit. Next thing you know, over time, they using it. So it's deep. It's the same with the numbers. You got lotto. The numbers was deemed legal. Lock all the number spots up. Because these are black owned and Spanish owned. Black owned. Lock them up. That's illegal. Then they come out with the lotto. Right after that. Right in the face. And then black people just be like, yeah, you right. Numbers is legal. Numbers is bad. Let me just play the lotto though. And we act ignorant. Like we don't see this. Same with the drug resources. They came here. They raided the tobacco and the cocaine farms, took all that back to Europe and then said, hey, all this is illegal. You take the resource from us, deem it illegal, deem it a bad thing, while they, it's deep, while they prosper off it. And we sit around and we judge one another. Oh, he a drug dealer, and we just be lost. They take all the strengths that y'all got and make them weaknesses, and y'all go with it. It's deep cold blood.